Well, as you see, got this vintage air unit installed finally. Granted, it's not a permanent resting place yet. Still doing some fitment stuff, but the holes and mounts for it are done. Got this hole drilled here, and this one over here. And these heater hoses don't quite line out perfect in the hole. This one's kind of up against, but it's got some playroom a little bit. I might need to adjust the box a little bit too, and then retighten everything. As you can see, I've got my column pulled out. I ordered this seal from CJ because the little like soft bushing I had was not an actual seal, so I've put this rubber seal in that the column actually pushes through, and this will make a tight seal around this opening. So right now I'm waiting on my column to dry because I had a couple of spots where rust was coming through. I don't know if it was where it got scratched or what, but I wanted to keep this brushed look. I may end up epoxying it black later on in the future if it still wants to come back through rust, because I'm just using this clear rust encapsulator on it right now. I actually rubbed Piclics all over it first, let that dry up, and then spray this rust encap on it. Maybe they don't like each other, I don't know. I want to get some shark skin for here. I bought some for my dad for Christmas for his bike, for him to brush on some of the polished stuff and aluminum parts and whatnot to keep them from corroding. So I might buy a thing of that and give it a go for bare metal parts, but once this cures up, I'll throw it back in the car. Do a glance in here. Let's see if I can walk this column out of my way so I don't knock it over the door. There we go. So, let's see. Get this light. Here is the installed unit. And it has, if you watched the last video, you heard me say, put riv nuts up there. So everything's button head stainless bolts on the inside of the brackets as well. I still have to drill the hole for this, which I'll probably do here in a second. I think it just drills through this little bit of a slant right there. I don't know if you can make it out, but the floor transitions. It has this angle right here. And once it hits up here, it flattens out and it goes vertical. So there's like a double transition there. Yeah, there you go. Now you can kind of see it. I think the drain hose needs to go right where it starts to flatten out, but not positive. That hole will be for my gas pedal, which I have. I drilled out these three to use the same thing. It's going to use button heads, 1/4-20s, stainless with nylock nuts. This hole up top, there you go, this up here, I'm assuming that was for some wiring to pass through. I'll probably end up throwing a plug in it. That's that right there. And then I have this little hole right here too. I think that was for another bit of wiring. That'll probably also get a plug. If this hole wasn't so close to this curve right here, I could maybe put my new bulkhead that I have here, but I don't know if I'll be able to mount it here or not. So, a couple things I have questions on. One was the gas tank. I think I mentioned that in the previous video. I need to see what's used to seal around that for when I get it back in. The other question I have is wondering if anyone has done it or has seen it, of where they mount these firewall power bulkheads. Now the starter's on the passenger side, the alternator's on the passenger side. So I want to obviously put this on the passenger side because the idea that came to mind was using that hole up there. But I don't want to cross it all the way over to the driver's side just to have the power lead come back over to this side. Not only that, but I'd have to drill that hole out to make this fit, and it's jam up against that brake line. So it'd be fun trying to, I'd probably have to file that out. I wouldn't be able to actually put a unit bit on it, or I obviously can't hole saw it with a hole like that. Ideally it would mount somewhere over here, but this AC unit's kind of in the way there. I'd like to mount it low and out of sight, but also away from being kicked. I thought about just like right in this area, maybe drill out this hole here as a pilot and mount it right there. But then I thought about, I got heater lines right here. If I ever had a leak there, it's gonna run straight down to this power lead and ground out on my car. So that kind of scratched that idea. I could go to the side, but that bracket is here. Same thing over here. I can't really put it up here because that bracket, you know, takes up this much area flat on the inside of the car. And then I also have this plate. This is the block off plate for the vintage air. And it, let me see if I can finagle this one-handed. This covers up these holes and fits like that, covers the blower motor. Now, I thought about using this hole here. As you see, I got heater lines inside of there, but there's nothing straight back. These holes aren't quite perfect. This thing doesn't fit in it, so I'd have to drill it out or file it out a little bit. The downer is, it's actually got a flat on it, and they say to drill a 1 1/8 hole and then you file out the round part, and that way the flat keeps this thing from turning, so you can actually tighten this down on it and you can tighten these nuts without it wanting to turn this bulkhead. I probably won't ever run AC using this style stuff. These passing lines through these grommets, through these holes. I'll more than likely end up, whenever it comes that time, dropping the box, cutting this out, putting a flat sheet here, smoothing it out, re-epoxying it, and I'll run AC lines through a bulkhead, either through here or through this outside or something. That way they're hidden and they all run underneath here, and I'll pass them through another bulkhead up front somewhere and keep all my AC lines hidden and out of sight. When I do that, I'll also do the same thing with these heater lines. I'll cut, this will be cut out as well and be flattened off so all this is flush. Now, when that happens, I would then have an ideal location to put this, you know, over here. So I thought about putting this somewhere temporary where I could move it later. But I don't really want to drill extra holes, so that's why I thought here would be a decent solution. That since that plate will be going away later, don't have to worry about cutting a hole in my car that'll have to be filled later. And this isn't a bad location for it. I even thought about this. I'm gonna have to plug this. This is the antenna hole for the radio. I don't have an antenna anymore, but I'd have to drill this out. But this wouldn't be a bad spot, I don't think, because the wire is gonna come up the rocker channel. It'll come up through inside of this and just be a clear shot straight out and boom to this hole. The shitty thing is I'd have to drill this out just the same to fit this, and then still it doesn't get me in the engine bay, so I'd have to run another one of these down here somewhere, which I also don't think would be a terrible idea, but it's more fail points, it's more breaks in the wire, so I don't know if I want to go that route. I think that'd be a neat solution. It'd be clean, quick, out that jump into here, and then just wrap it around and down. But I don't know. Let me take some opinions. Tell me what y'all think. And may or may not take y'all up on your ideas. I don't know. Just shooting in the dark, trying to figure out what I want to do here. I have a bad habit of making a choice, regretting it, and end up causing myself more work later on. So, anyways, I don't think anything else is new. Haven't moved along anything else in the trunk. The CJ order I got was that steering wheel seal. I got the trunk weather strip. Got these quarter extensions and fender extension seals, and these trunk bumpers. And I also got the nuts for the dash bezels, the little self-tapper nuts that go in the holes here and hold this panel on and the cluster and whatnot. But other than that, that's it. I did finally get rid of my frame jig slash body cart. Guy came by today and picked it up, builds Broncos. So look at all that extra floor space. If I can just get Rudder to come get this thing from me. The funny thing is, when I posted that frame jig and body cart, everybody was asking about this thing. So if you decide you don't want it, Rudder, don't feel like you're obligated to get this if you change your mind or starting to have doubts, because I don't think this thing will be a problem to sell at all. But like I said, it's here. It's not really in my way. It's taking up shop space, but it's not in my way. I don't have anything that would go along this wall. It really doesn't take up a whole lot of space. That jig or body cart took up more space than this thing, I think, or at least feels that way. But just give me a shot whenever you're ready to come get it, buddy. And I guess that's it for now, guys. Like I said, I'll get this sucker bolted back in the car probably tomorrow or the next day. And I'll move along with this AC and try to figure out where I want to put that bulkhead. I might end up having to just flip a coin and pulling the trigger on something, I guess. Oh, I'd mentioned these grommets too. I found some grommets for these heater hoses that are for $69.70. Don't know if they use the same size hoses, same size holes, but I started thinking, I believe what they actually do to insulate this is they feed the rubber hose for the heater onto these barbs into the car. Like they'll push them on past the firewall so they feed inward, and then they'll clamp the outside so it seals, you know, from the clamp outward. But the firewall will have that rubber hose tip as a kind of a buffer for vibration or to insulate it, to keep it from rubbing like this one's obviously sitting against it. But if anyone knows of anything else than that idea, that seems like the best, easiest solution, is just feed the rubber hose in. The only thing I've read online that's different is some people have said that that's actually the way that Ford intended them to be insulated, but most modern day like part store hoses you get are thinner wall, so they still have a gap. They don't seal it tight. And those people just said you just put a little bit of strip caulk, which is kind of like what I have back there in this box, and you use that to seal it up tight. On the last bit, I did meet another fellow Mustang guy today. Came by and got the heater box. He subbed me earlier, and I followed him back. I need to check out his videos. I'm blanking on what his YouTube channel is, but I think it's like Stang 302, if I'm right. But anyways, he got my heater box from me. Might come back to get my radiator that was in here. And I think he's gonna get me the hookup on a Roller 302. So that'll be pretty sweet. So shout out to him. It's cool meeting him. And hopefully I'll get me a new motor to build to replace this one I'll be throwing in here for the time being, since it's a flat tappet. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.